Years ago, I read somewhere that when Einstein would come home from school, his mother would ask him, "Did you ask any good questions today? I could use some good questions."
I'm not sure if I have any good questions for you, but last month I did catch an interesting news story, though. A woman in her 20s living in Belgium, suffering from PTSD, was permitted to die with the help of medical doctors. Apparently, she was sexually assaulted from age 5 to age 15. She also suffered from anorexia and hallucinations. I suppose I could ask you, what do you think of this?
Of course, I think it's very sad. Sounds like she was more than just hurting, she must have been utterly tormented. I definitely support the idea of physician assisted suicide. So many things can go wrong if victims try to terminate their own lives. I've seen people permanently in wheelchairs from attempts gone wrong. Of course, doctors can also make mistakes too, but I'd feel better about people choosing to die if they had a doctor to help them do it, at least to make the process safer, if not exactly safe.
What about persevering through the hardships, becoming a stronger person after pushing through the adversity? Valuing life, or more particularly human life, above all else.
No. No surprise at all. The person willing to terminate his own life by the end of the year, if his employment situation doesn't change for the better, doesn't see it that way. I value an overall decrease in suffering more than life itself. I can't relate to someone who would choose, say, 63 years of suffering through life over, say, 14 years of okay living. That would not be a hard choice for me at all. I would choose 14 years of okay life over 63 years of suffering through life any day.
So life is overrated then?
I don't know. Sometimes it looks that way to me, though. I hadn't really thought of it that way in quite a while. I, I can't I can't help but see the hypocrisy in what I hear from societies across the world versus what they actually do. We're supposed to recognize and accept this high value on life, but we don't actually but we just don't. But we basically beat life down every day. We're we're called to protect it, then we find dozens and dozens of reasons to subdue it. Having the idea of life in itself as a virtue sitting atop a pedestal sounds good, but people don't really follow through with that. They don't really hold those ideals. Well, they don't follow through with them anyway.
I thought people had to be terminally ill before a doctor would do something like that. Death is really a permanent option and all. True, they were in Belgium, but still, I thought a person would have to be terminally ill.
Yeah, that's generally what I hear too. That's the pay. That, yeah, that's, if I can talk. Yeah, that's generally what I hear too. That the patients are terminally ill. In the United States, there's some list of conditions like uh, being terminally ill and projected to die within 6 months, and of course, being over the age of 18. And it's only permitted in a few states. You have to legally be a resident of that state. I don't remember all the conditions. I imagine that the conditions vary from state to state.
Okay, I understand that you're okay with these people ending their lives, but what about the questionable position that the doctor is in?
Hmm. It's been a while since I've thought about it from the doctor's perspective. Over 10 years ago, I wrote a letter to a doctor in prison who had been convicted of killing one of his terminally ill patients. For years, he had been assisting terminally ill patients, providing the means to die, but not actually killing the patient. No surprise, he had some legal problems, but just by helping them die, he had legal problems. But eventually, he was convicted of murder when he actually administered the lethal cocktail himself. I think maybe that particular patient had trouble physically pressing the button himself. I don't remember what I said in that letter. I just remember sending my support. I got a generic response back. The response was pretty long. I kept meaning to read all of it, but just never got around to it.
Well, okay, so that doctor was okay with killing his patients, but I think a lot of doctors won't be so agreeable.
You're right. Many doctors won't be agreeable, and many people won't be so agreeable. Many people simply aren't agreeable to many things. The struggle continues. Even if someone agrees with patients and doctors going down this path, I think people have a harder time accepting it when the patient isn't projected to die anytime soon. The woman you mentioned in Belgium, yeah, her anorexia could have killed her, but from what you said, it seemed to be more about her PTSD. I still support her and her doctor's right to do it, but I think it becomes harder for others to accept when death isn't already just around the corner.
It isn't difficult for me to accept. Either way, let her be.
That man who couldn't press the button to kill himself. I still remember something about his fear of suffocation. He was having trouble breathing and losing control of his muscles. Hmm. Thanatron. Yeah, the name. The name of that machine used to kill him. Thana coming from Greek meaning death, and Tron meaning machine. The device used a mix of drugs. The doctor used two or three drugs, one to put the person to sleep and another to stop the heart. Hmm.
I think I might have heard of that doctor.
What if it were you? What if you were the doctor? Would you kill the patient?
Yeah, I'd do it.
I knew you'd say that. The question was hardly worth asking, but oh well. Maybe next time we talk, I'll have a better question or two for you to answer.
Hmm. Well, okay, we'll talk again tomorrow. Later.
All right then. Till later. Video posted every day.